GREYMOND, the founder of the GREYMOND method. I am one of the original coaches to help people fully recover from OCD. And after thousands of clients, my message is still the same. You can fully recover from OCD. On this channel, I show you how. Before we start, I just wanted to remind you that I do daily OCD recovery videos. So if you don't want to miss one, hit the subscribe button now. Video is for people who have family members who have OCD. So this is for people who don't have OCD, whose loved ones are struggling with OCD. So what can they do from their position? The number one thing you need to understand that anytime you are helping your loved one do compulsions, or if you're helping your loved one ruminate, you are making their OCD worse. And this is not all or nothing where you just need to cut them off entirely. I mean, ideally, that's where we need to get to, but it doesn't have to be all in one day where it becomes a shock and a very negative situation. But slowly start cutting down on how much you are, in quotes, helping, because it's not help, them with their OCD. Pull back on the number of compulsions you are doing for them. Maybe if you feel like they are just not strong enough to do this or that on their own, maybe do the compulsion halfway or do it less thoroughly. Somehow push them into doing an exposure. But the exposure, the most important part of exposure is response prevention. So it needs to be in doable amounts. It cannot be 10 out of 10. That from now on you have to do everything by yourself. No, that doesn't work like that. But start pulling back. Every time they're seeking reassurance from you, say, you know that you talking about this and thinking about this is making you worse. Let's not do this for, let's say, 5 hours or 3 hours, and you can come back to me in 3 hours and then we can discuss it then. Something like that, whether it's saying no or delaying or reducing, but slowly pulling back on it. If your child is having OCD, try to stop them from isolating. So if you see that they're in their room all the time and the door's closed, try to kind of pull them into the living room a little bit more, engage them, take them out somewhere where they're busy, because the busier they are, the less they're going to have time to ruminate and or do compulsions. Also, if your child is dealing with OCD, monitor their online research. What is it they're researching is very important. If you feel like they're researching OCD topics nonstop, see if you can block. I know it sounds harsh, but it is really helpful. And I have many clients who are adults who are doing it themselves, is blocking themselves off the internet. Because you have to understand that with the internet, whatever you read, that's going to be stuck with you for a long time into the future. So the damage from reading online is incredibly higher than, let's say, doing a compulsion of, wiping something twice instead of once or something like that. That's inconsequential compulsion. It needs to be reduced to 0 as well, but it's inconsequential for the most part. Reading something online and receiving more and more information will haunt the person. So it's important that that type of stuff gets pulled back as much as possible and as fast as possible, again within the doable amounts. But generally with clients, a lot of the times we sit down with the entire family and we create an action plan. So not just an action plan of what the person themselves needs to do, but also how the family can help. And if you're thinking of booking a session, just know that that is an option, and we can do half hour with the person, half hour with the family, or all together, however it works for you and your situation. But I do find, the person can recover just, of course, on their own. And most of my clients are just talking to me on their own. But I'd say maybe 30% of the time, the entire family comes in on the session, or at least part of the session, and it does help to have that support, and even more importantly, that understanding of how the action plan is, what we are doing, what we can expect, how do we know that we're seeing progress. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of do this video to explain some of those things. I hope you find it helpful. Subscribe if you haven't. If you would like to book a talk with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com, and I will see you tomorrow.